Ani Boujou, my name is Jesse Wente, and welcome to the live Q&A for Don't Say Its Name. I'm the co-executive director of the Indigenous Screen Office, and I'm very thrilled to be here for the world premiere of this film. Thank you to the Fantasia Festival for having me. And without further ado, please let's bring in the director of Don't Say Its Name, Rueben Martell. Rueben, how are you?
Great.
As well as your cast. Everyone come on to the Zoom so we can all say hi. Oh, wow.
Ooh, how's it going?
Look at all that talent. Congratulations, Rueben and everyone. What an amazing picture. I had such a great time watching it. So
Awesome.
Congratulations and miigwech for making it.
Thank you. Is everybody on here?
I think so. Rueben, why don't you start by introducing your cast to everyone?
Okay. First off, it's Sera-Lys McArthur. I mean, she was on last night, and she plays Stacy.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. And yeah, he means I have a short film that also premiered last night in the Born of Woman section, which is also on again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., followed by this one replaying the next day. Right?
Yeah. And where is Carson? Where is Julian? Yeah, he's on here. He's logged on somewhere. Well, I'll go on to Catherine. Catherine Gell plays Frances.
Hello.
I hardly hear anything. Then we got Val Duncan. She plays the surveyor who, man, she had the toughest job. She spent hours in fake blood in minus 50, 52 weather, and she laid there the whole time. I mean, this is a spoiler. I shouldn't have said that, but it's like she did the hardest part. But say hello to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you digitally.
And Justin Lewis plays Barney Fife. I mean, what's the name of Andy? It wasn't Andy Fife. It was Officer Andy.
Yeah. What a pleasure to be here. Thanks a lot.
And Mr. Rene Collins, our producer, the guy who brought me on, and actually the guy who actually made this happen. He handed the script to the right person.
Yeah, there's a bit of a background with Rueben and I. Years ago, I was mentoring a workshop for APTN in Banff, and that's where I met Rueben. And one of his short films, and I never forget this. He's in the film. He's eating this big chunk of raw meat, just chowing down into this thing. We had a little talk afterwards about botulism. But he impressed himself on me then, and we stayed in touch over the years. And I was producing another film a couple of years ago, and I made contact with Rueben about that, and that's when I first got the first version of the script. And one of the other producers, Carolyn McMaster, she's a bit of a genius with trying to find money and making things work. And anyway, I connected the two of them, and then we sort of took it from there, and we were able to make the film work. So we'll talk about the weather later. But
okay, cool.
Pass it on.
And is Julian here? He messaged me saying that he's logged on.
He's there.
I'm here.
He's a man.
Julian.
Second time's the charm.
There he is. How's it going, man?
Good. How are y'all? Geez, look at all the familiar faces. I see Jesse. I see Justin.
Like the Brady Bunch.
Nice to meet you face to face, Jesse. And hi, everyone.
What up?
Oh, Sheena Kaine. Man, I think she put up with more stuff from me than anything, because every day she'd be in makeup, and I'd say, "Are they gonna put you through makeup?"
No, he actually picked on me every day.
But she's a boxer; she can take it. I mean, it was just jabs, but I guess it'd be literal jabs. But I couldn't.
No, it was fun. It was fun. It was very fun.
Well, welcome everybody. It's so great to have you here, and again, thank you so much for making the movie. For those watching, if you want to pose a question, put it into the Q&A on Zoom, and we will get to as many as we can as we go through the time with everyone. Ruben, I'd just like to start. Where did the story come from?
I think it was always something that was in the back of my mind, because it was growing up as a young guy. Like I there was always this Catholicism and spirituality, and the best way to say it is, like, I never seen any real proof of anything from Catholicism. And one day I remember it was October 13th, 1987. Me and my mom went to a sweat, and I think it was the second round. There was a person that they stopped. We got into the third round of the sweat, and they said, we're going to bring in a boy, but everybody keep your distance from him, because he's not all there. He's crazy. I said in Cree. So everybody said, just keep your distance. And I was the one that was closest to him, because I was the youngest one. And they said that he had a spirit. He was possessed by a spirit. And so, young guy, you're sitting next to him. So we were in a sweat, and the sweat is just like 3 times harder than the sauna. And they closed the doors. We're all sitting there, and it was freezing. As much as they threw water on the rocks, couldn't get it cold. And the guy was crying, and he was just he was saying this isn't helping, but he was saying it in such a desperate way that it scared the hell out of me. So after everything, like they stopped it right at that moment, and they took him out of the sweat, and I was like, what was that? Like, what was that? What happened? And then I started looking into it. The medicine man didn't want to say what it was, and he said basically he kind of just forget what you seen, kind of forget what you just witnessed, basically. So I looked more into it, and I kind of got more into the Witigu, like how we say it in I guess how we say it in Cree is the Witigu.
Oh, say it. Just name.
Yeah,
You said the name.
Almost say his name.
it's not winter. It's not winter.
It's over.
It's safe.
Let's get out of here.
But I looked more into it, and then this story came up, because it was the only thing that I've ever witnessed spiritually with my own eyes and my own ears, and it was it just had that everlasting, like, it just still has that lasting thing on, because, like, obviously, I mean, I'm 44 years old, and I wrote the script and finally got on the screen, and it still sticks with me. Like, it's still the one thing that really, really sticks with me.
Well, I have to say, I've seen in my time more than a few Witigo or Windigo movies, but
Yeah.
This is the one I enjoyed the most. So congratulations,
Awesome.
I think, on doing this. There's a lot going on in the story, not beyond the monster.
Yeah.
If we think about, this is a film that touches on themes like resource extraction, murder to missing Indigenous women and girls. Why did you want to touch on these in a scary story?
I think it was the only thing that made sense to me. Like I've had this conversation before, where people describe, like, native life, and bringing it to the screen. And the one person that made the best argument with one sentence was saying, we don't live PG-13 lives. And our lives are consistently being bombarded by this. Like, there's always something changing. There's always a different policy coming in. There's always different, like, land and resources, or somebody goes missing. Like, all these things that happen around us don't have a timeline. And I thought, all in this one, because everybody has their own fight on the reserve, and everybody has their individual fights and individual, like, I guess, the meanings behind the things they're saying. Like with Carson, Carson is the last person you'd expect to take this pro stance, because he's because it's Julian. He's the big dude. He's the guy that everybody listens to, and Karis just feels betrayed by that. Like, it's just the whole betrayal. So everybody has their different fights. I mean, Stacy has her own fight, and I just thought you might as well throw them all in there, because if you're to have characters, the one thing I didn't want is to do stereotypes. I wanted everybody to have their own individual wars inside them.
Yeah, I have to really commend you on that, because I think so often people view our communities as a monolith, as if we all think exactly the same, when of course, not at all. Like, and no population actually thinks like a monolith, but sometimes that's thrust upon us. So I love that there was nuance, that there was not two sides, and that the monster's motivations weren't always clear.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the monster is how I've always seen it, was that she was the hero, and she just didn't get away with it. You know, like, sorry, Stacy, but you're just a psychotic killer. You know what I mean? Like, you're just a badass psychotic killer, and Karis is just like obviously the hero in the story.
Okay, I'm good with being an anti-hero.
It fits you. You know what I mean? Let's do this, man.
You know, this film is part of a wave of Indigenous films that we've been seeing recently that use genre to touch on these sorts of issues. Why do you think we're seeing that so much from the filmmakers in our community?
I think because we've been silenced for so long. Like we really haven't had a voice. And like even right now, I feel like I don't have a voice. Like I feel like the people that are watching it now, they've heard the whisper of it, but it's not out there yet. I feel like we're all like, especially with I don't know. I feel like it's everybody's looking to tell the story, especially me. Like I wanted to just get out all these issues, but you're only given a specific amount of time. It's like, okay, you got 15 days to shoot a movie, and you're gonna have to rewrite it at the same time. And let's try to get as many issues in that time slot. And okay, where do I go from here? Like, you go from one day to the next, trying to put something in and trying to keep it fresh. But that's a challenge with the budget and with time. And I think that I sound like I'm rambling, but I feel like this is the reason why. Like, even right now, it's like you're asking me a question about getting the message out, and there's so much I want to say, but we don't have all that time. Like, it's just yeah. I have to, like, Sera-Lys knows this. I talk, like, I can just talk and talk. So does anybody else have an answer? I know Julian's gonna say something, because I just don't want to ramble.
You're doing great.
I'm going to throw it to Julian as well, because one of the things we were working on, struggling with on the rewrites, is the script, the dialogue section of the elder, and it was all going to be determined by who was going to play it. I don't know how many times we rewrote that and got it down to a point. Then Julian took it and made it his own, and that was something that we absolutely loved. You know, the actors took the part, made it their own. You know, and that was so needed because of the time crunch and all the factors that were working against us to get this thing done. It was amazing that we even got it done, as everyone knows. But anyway, I want to throw it to Julian there.
Oh, thanks, Rene. First of all, I'd like to, just obviously a huge shout out to Rueben Martell, and like, for doing his first feature film. I mean, 15 days doing a feature film. If anyone knows about production, that's borderline insanity. It is. But he did it, and he knocked it out of the park. And kudos to Rene too for bringing on such a great production team, and just to the production itself and all the rest of the cast and crew. I never got to intermix with quite a few of you, except for the lovely Sera-Lys. But I do appreciate everyone's work, and I know what kind of work goes into a film. So my hat's off to you all. And I do really appreciate the collaboration that I was allowed, going back to what Rene was saying on the speech. And here's a nice, interesting little tidbit fact. That speech, that was a oneer. That was a one-take thing, because that's all we had time to do. It was like, okay, Julian, we're going to shoot this as a oneer. And I'm like, no cutaways, no nothing. And it was like, and okay, I think we got it. We're moving on. And I was like, no second takes, no nothing. But it was a bit of it needed to be reworked, as Rene said, to have it come out truthful, like to be truthful and have that Indigenous, I don't know, like for me, it was like what I'm used to hearing from my elders and how they speak. Like they're not so perfect, and what makes them elders is because they used to be very imperfect and flawed, and they've since grown. And so they know exactly what they're talking about. And that's what I wanted to bring to the character of Carson, is make him truthful and honest and believable, that, you know, tangible. And as Rueben said, not a caricature. So thank you.
So 15 days is an in crazy short amount of time. This sounds like classic first film, quick and dirty, which I love. I'm wondering, for the cast, what was it like for you to work in that environment so quickly, and how was the shoot for you? Why don't we start with Sera-Lys?
Well, I knew going into it that it was going to be like fast and dirty. I didn't know how cold it was going to be. But I felt like we all really had to have our head in the game the whole time. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'll just like read my lines as I'm getting my makeup done. Like, no, it's like I had to like we had to work together and have it all planned out. And I think it really shows that like everybody brought their best work forward.
Justin, I see you nodding.
I agree with that. I mean, like Sera-Lys said, everybody, I mean, it was just an amazing production to get to work on. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, everybody brought something to offer and contribute, and a lot of flexibility. And there wasn't a great deal of takes all the time, because everybody was just ready to get after it. And that's as I recall, that's for the most part what we did.
Everyone's solid.
Yeah.
Sheena and Val, what about you guys?
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I mean, we shot me out in one day, in one, like 15 days. I was there for one of them. So I have a pretty narrow scope. But it was, yeah, I mean, it was like a well-oiled machine, it seemed to me.
Well, we just
Yeah, I
had to,
feel. Oh, what?
you know, like we just had to keep yours, like making it seem like a well-oiled machine. It was just like keep on going, you know, it's like blood and sweat. It was just
But
like,
you have to keep moving, otherwise you freeze. So-
exactly.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
Literally, yeah, it was literally so cold some days that I would even try to be like, no, I'm good. We'll just keep going, like try to tough it out. And I kind of got like in heck for that, because literally of how cold it was, I could have potentially got frostbite, but I didn't want to like, you know, let people down. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. But I legit got to the point where like I couldn't feel my fingers at one point.
I remember that I was aside from producing, I was doing some behind the scenes work for the EPK, and I'd leave that to go do C camera or second unit and direct that, and Sheena was there, and I remember we just needed another shot. Her hands are so frozen in these gloves, and you got a story about the gloves you had, and I thought, really, like, and I thought, yeah, really, like we're on the verge of literal frostbite. It was -35 was a good day, but I think we dipped into the 40 at one point.
It was even -50 once on my way to work.
Yeah,
It was.
My hand was sticking to the gun. I had to wear gloves so that my hand wouldn't stick to the iron of the gun.
Yeah, it was crazy, and that they all pulled together to make that happen. It was really a high degree of dedication that they all brought, professionalism, which was totally amazing, and that's what really pulled the film together. We couldn't have done it without the actors that we had.
Catherine's been really quiet.
I'd say my hat's off again, big time, for Sheena on that, because as you can see from the pictures, you know, I got nothing but layers on, and we're all dressed so nice. And Sheena's wearing like a unitard with It's blood. And so I was like, are you cold, Julian? No, I'm fine, man. I'm all good. I'm good. Right. And getting hit by Sheena is like getting hit by a tank. I'll have to tell you that.
Oh my God, I wish we could have seen that better, Julian. I totally wish we could have seen that. And it was so cold that the mats we landed on were like not really soft at that
That's
point.
like ice. It's like, why did we have those mats? Like the snow would have been a lot better.
No, I did. I told Chad to take them away. I was like, just get rid of them. The ice will be fine. We'll
Yeah, they
slide.
were like slipping across the snow. They weren't even staying where they're supposed to stay.
We'd like land on it's like a crazy carpet. And we just like hit into some bushes.
100%. It's like,
Where's the crazy pretend Indian, Catherine?
I'm here.
Where is she?
Hello.
How was
Hi.
your?
She has her tea.
I've got no tea. Sparkling water and yeah, no, I'm here. You found me? No.
Yeah.
How was the shoot for you, Catherine?
The cold thing, yeah, it sticks out in everyone's mind. I remember the scene when Carla and I were doing at the side of the road when we were remembering Karas, and that was the day it was like -38, and it got to the end. I couldn't speak. I sounded like Sylvester the cat, and she had frost in her hair, and I thought that it was unreal. It didn't matter how much hot water I drank, I just couldn't stop speaking like that. So that was a fun memory, but yeah, I'll echo what everyone else said. It was everybody knew their characters, and I've got to give big props to Rueben. He always had the time and he had great insight into these characters.
Thank you.
Oh no, it really helped. And you and I were talking about this the other day. I said the difference with good writing is characters versus caricatures, which is what we had. And I really love that you didn't write caricatures. Like even my character, she could have very easily come across as a new age, flaky, pain in the ass whitey. But you told me there were elements of your own mum in there. And I mean, I really got the soul searching of it. And every single one of our characters had that. They were multi-layered. They had their own personal battles. They're their battles within each other. They had their own personal, feelings towards each other. It was really well written, and it made it easy for us, I feel.
Thank you.
I salute you, sir.
Rueben didn't quite go for my first choice as the character voice. I was going, hey, you guys, what's going on?
Oh. It's like he's gonna do the John Redcorn, eh? This is my people in the land.
Rueben made the right choice.
How, Kimosabi?
Well, it sounds like the next one, Rueben, it'll have to be a monster in a more southern clime.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're working on with
Skinwalker.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
I'm wondering, when you're, and maybe this is a question for Rene, but as well as Rueben, I mean, beyond financing and the compressed schedule, what was the biggest challenge in getting this? Because I remember, Rueben, I think this has been around, as you were describing at the beginning of this, you've had this idea for a while.
Yeah.
What was the biggest challenge in ultimately getting it to the screen where we've now all had a chance to enjoy it?
You want to go first there, Rueben?
No, you go first, because I need to think about this one.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
because when we decided to go forward with the shoot, it was going to be in an orderly, organized way, and we got things going just like you would normally, and try to get things to fall into place. And then I don't know if it was December or January, like just everything just hit high speed. There was pedal to the metal, and Carolyn came back and says, "We got to go now. We've got to shoot this thing." And so we shot it end of January, February.
Beginning of January?
Beginning of January. Yeah, it was just
Beginning of January.
We got to go now. So we, at that point, we only had enough, I believe we had enough financing just to do the principal photography, and Carolyn's still working on the rest, but we had to do it now just to get it done. And it wasn't planned to have the worst weather. I think like the week prior, it was nice, nice winter, and then all hell breaks loose. And I don't know who says hell is hot 8 hot, and we all went there. And we got it. We had to get it done, and we got it wrapped just before the COVID really started to take hold and start to lock things down. So had we not gone when we did, it probably never would have been shot.
No.
You know, we'd be now talking about picking it up and trying to move forward and filming it now or next year or some kind of thing.
And yeah, with me, it was like, I feel like it was, it did happen like so fast. Like for me, it was like a pipe dream, because like, who wants to make this movie? Like, and then when Rene was like, hey, we're gonna be shooting in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and I was like, what, really? Okay, awesome. You know, and then here I was like sitting around like thinking, okay, well, I'm gonna enjoy my Christmas, like nothing's happening with this. Okay, can you be here on the 22nd? We're gonna start prep. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah. So I was there, and then I think we hit the ground running January 1st. Like I didn't even throw out the Christmas tree yet, and we're up and running. And I was like, and we're casting on the fly.
Yeah,
and it was just
it was amazing. And I forget the exact details, but it was that kind of time frame. And just so you know, all the locations was one part. One of the things we did to try to condense it was to find a location where we could do everything. The road, it's only one road into the camp.
it's one road.
Yeah, and there's a side roads, and that's it. So that became every country road around the reserve, you know, but it's literally one little road, and I think there's a little road off the backside towards a metering station or something like that. But everything took place in the one location, and that allowed us to move quickly. So we didn't have to travel. We didn't have to move trailers or anything. We used existing buildings rather than bring in trailers. So everything was quite condensed, and that's really John Kerr and Carolyn really worked at that. We were part of that to help make the decisions to make that work. And I want to give a kudo to our DOP, Doug Monroe, who, again, the same thing. He's planning a nice leisurely production schedule to get things planned, and to determining looks, working with Rueben with cameras and lenses, what have you, and then it's go time. We have to shoot this thing, and then he made it happen. And I'm getting a Mayday call from Doug. I forget what time at night. Rene, we need batteries. You know, all the batteries that we had, they're not lasting. They're dying within minutes. And I'm phoning around and trying to find other camera batteries to buy. You know, so I end up spending thousands of dollars buying new batteries, thousands of dollars that came out of my pocket to get this thing so the guys can keep the cameras rolling that day. So it really was, a big effort all around by everyone. From, you know, Rueben giving up part of his Christmas to, you know, the actors freezing to death and laying in the snow with gashes of blood. And that was a really, I don't know if you noticed that when Val gets that slash, there's a blood splatter to the lens, you know, and that's our, you know, our brilliant editor, Bridget Dunford. So Bridget is, you know, award-winning editor, and we had some top talent on the post end, and made all that stuff happen.
Yeah, most of our crew is working Last of Us right now. It's crazy. Like, everybody's sending me stuff from Last of Us set. I'm like, man, that's nuts. You know what the weird thing I was just thinking of is that if it wasn't so cold, and if the cameras weren't freezing, the blood wasn't freezing, we would have actually got everything in the script that we would have needed in those 15 days. That's what's even crazier. Because look how prepared everybody was going into the scenes. Like, we were just nailing them off.
Yeah, I remember we had to like switch the whole schedule because of the batteries and the cameras not working. So I thought I had like 4 days before I had to shoot these interior scenes, but because it was way too cold to shoot outside, like they pulled them all up, and yeah, it was nuts. But everyone pivoted, and we were able to like work with everyone's schedules, so that was great.
I think I had a call time that day. It was like 11 or something. I woke up at 9 with a text on my phone that was like, get here as fast as you can, because we've switched it all to inside. You're doing that scene today. I was like, oh, okay, I'm coming.
Totally.
Yeah, and we had they talk about Canadian crews, and you hear this all the time from people from the outside. Oh, they're amazing. And just, you know, we had, again, an amazing camera crew. Same thing, having to keep the cameras working. And I know they were miserable. They hated it, but they're all top professionals. And we had this maybe this was one of the other factors because there was a bit of a break between productions for a lot of our crew. I believe Rueben, our makeup, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, our makeup gal was a bit of a lull between one show she finished and another one starting up. So she was able to come in from Vancouver. So we had these sort of little windows of opportunity to be able to bring in some key people on our crew. And that,
if we didn't start the day we did, we wouldn't have like I don't think we would have had all of our crew or even any of our crew. Like it was because of that small 15-day window where everybody could actually work and actually make it happen. Like if we would have started a day late, it just never would have happened. It's just everything was based on timing. Like I think it was just, yeah, we were all under the gun, and I think the cold actually just kept us going. You know what I mean? Like it was just a strong motivator of not freezing to death, basically.
And it's a question for Rueben I have is that we've got 3 strong female Indigenous leads in this thing, but it's not overt. It's not in your face. They just are.
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered if you can maybe share some thoughts on that when you were writing the script.
You know, the weird thing is that like I was raised by aunties and my mom. Like my father was absent, but I mean I know him kind of. He's kind of cool, you know. But going over my life and just thinking back on this, I don't want to offend anybody by saying this, but none of my heroes were male. And that was the thing with this script, was like, of all the badass people that I knew, they're all native females. Like I didn't know one that would back down from a fight. I didn't know one that didn't have like their mind on straight. It's just being thrown into these traumatic events and basically trying to work. Like they make it work. You know what I mean? When you're on the reserve, you have no choice. You got to make it work. I mean, Julian's one of my heroes, but like fictional.
Thank you for that. If I may be so bold here, I just received the message from Carolyn Masters, who's out in Santa Fe, I believe, and she just brought up an extremely important point, which, if it's okay, I'd like to just voice on behalf of Carolyn. And that is, like, we cannot forget the wonderful talent that we just lost, and a beautiful, beautiful soul, an actress, Wilma Pelly. So I just thought I'd put that out there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, Wilma, that was the last film Wilma worked on, I believe. And if you don't know Wilma Pelly, she was one of the stars in North of 60. She's been a sort of an icon of the film industry. We had her on a film prior to this one, and I worked with her when I was doing some behind the scenes work on Fargo, and Wilma's there, but she was also part of the community. When I'm not doing this kind of work, I work with the Indigenous community in Calgary with Métis Calgary Family Services, and she was part of that community and would come to the soirees for the elders and would feed people, and just an absolute doll. And so thank you, Julian. Thank you, Carolyn, for bringing that up. And thank you for acknowledging her.
Yeah, she was on my mind. And again, during the pandemic, you know, we're so disparate from each other. And I was sorry to hear of her passing, but I also felt incredibly lucky to have been able to spend time with her on set so recently.
Yeah, the one thing that, like, for me, it was like, I guess the biggest hope for me was that I got all of the right I guess subjects to go with, like, her passing, because it was just when I heard it was like she had passed away, and I was like, my God, I hope this film lives up to how I see her, you know what I mean? And she was such a powerful, like, even just growing up north of 60, I mean, you see her, she's your cookum, you know what I mean? She's everybody's grandma, and just to spend that time with her, even just kind of like directing and then looking over at her, and she's like telling people stories, and I'm like, I kind of want to be over there. I don't want to be directing right now. I want to be hearing her stories. You know what I mean? Because everything she was saying, she was just like, she was passionate. Everything she was doing, she was passionate about. And then it just, like, yeah, I guess it's still fresh in my mind, because it's I guess it's a first. It kind of feels weird because it's my first thing out and it's her last thing out, and it's kind of like bounded that way, and it feels I don't know. I still don't know how to feel about it. Like I'm just kind of in kind of limbo about it.
Well, it's that beautiful symmetry, and what the elders do, what they do, and they pass the torch on to you, whether you like it or not. You get it, and it's yours to carry forward, right?
Yeah.
So, so we've got that continuity, and that's the beautiful thing about that. I have a little story, and I'll keep it short. When Wilma got picked for North of 60, she actually, what had happened is that, and Julian knows him, our friend Ernie Poundmaker. Ernie knew Wilma. She said, "Hey, Wilma, they're auditioning for this North of 60. Why don't you come along with me?" So Ernie's auditioning for a part, brings Wilma along. Ernie doesn't get the part, she does. So that's a short story. That's how she got into the business.
Well, Rueben, I would say you did her proud with the film, and if I can pay the movie the highest compliment I can give anything, this film had big anti-energy, and that's the peak, the pinnacle that you could achieve.
Well, that was the one thing that I just realized in is like Madison's line at the very beginning, and she says, "Oh, you're I can't remember. It says you're." Her nephew says something like you're a dictator, and she says, "Worse, I'm an auntie." I was like, man, I didn't see that coming, but it works.
Well, that's because the actors, again, because of everything, we didn't have time for table reads. We didn't have all this sort of prep time the actors would normally have to develop the characters before shooting. So, and that was sort of done on the fly. And so they had to develop their own backstories, as it were. And in Madison's case, and hers, when we had this discussion, as one of the few people was able to talk to about the backstory. What is it that makes up this character? So, and it all makes sense in the scripting and in the dialogue with young Ben, where it's Ben's missing his mother. So in our cultures, maybe the mother is one of the missing and murdered. She's no longer in the picture. Auntie comes in, adopts the nephew. She raised her as his own, as we do, right? And then that line that don't ever be. How does he say, Rueben? Don't ever be mean or never hurt a woman. I forget how she put it. It was a line like that. And I thought that totally tied into that subtext and understanding of the culture without making it overt. We just know. And then she moved forward with that. So, and everyone sort of brought that kind of insight to their roles, which was, amazing because, we start everything. It's like you set the scene, put the actors out there, and then magic happens. The 1 + 1 = 3. It becomes greater than the sum of the parts, and everyone did that. So that was amazing.
I think the one thing that people keep on it was just casting. You know what I mean? Like cast the best people, and I got the best people. It's just they brought it to life. You know what I mean? Like I got the best actors. Like I could like even for Sheena and Sera-Lys, from the first time I wrote the script, it was always them. It's been like that for like how long?
You've been talking to me about them for 2 years.
Yeah.
So, you gotta meet this gal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was there only because I was the only actor that didn't go on Christmas holidays.
You were working on Secret History of the West.
And you were local at that, cheapest one they could find.
That's right. He'll do it.
The weird thing about when Julian came on is that I'd watched Hold the Dark a week before, and I was thinking, man, we need this uncle needs to be exactly like that fucking guy in Hold the Dark. And he just wipes out all those fucking cops and just does it way better than Rambo. And I didn't even realize that it was Julian until the second week in. The Chad, the stunt guy's like, "What are you talking about? That is the fucking guy from Hold the Dark." I was like, really? Casting.
So what's for Ruben and Rene? What's next for the film? You've had your the big world premiere at Fantasia. This is huge, big. What's next?
Oh gosh, I don't know about you, Ruben, but I'm always one of these guys with the nose to the grindstone. You just got to keep working it, and I leave the spotlights and fanfare to other people. Like for me. I'm not concerned about the accolades as much as the check. Did the check clear today? That's if it did, then it was a good day. We move on. I know. I'm developing some other projects with Carolyn right now, and we'll see how that pans out. I know Ruben's got a few things in the fire going as well, and Ruben and I were talking about one particular script involving a radio station on a small reserve somewhere. So drawing from our personal experience. So. There's lots going on, and it's just a matter of making time and hoping it all comes together, and one of these things will stick, and we get to play.
And will this be coming out in theaters? And when can people see it?
This particular one, well, again, because of COVID, just the fact that it's in your festival, that it's even being screened, is a minor miracle. It's like. Thank God, because all the arrangements you have with distributors and finances, it's all contingent on theatrical release.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there are no theaters to have theatrical releases, and you have all these contractual obligations. So how do you make it work? So honestly, one festival at a time. We'll get it out there, and let's keep working and see what happens.
Like just getting to Fantasia. I mean, Fantasia. Like it's nuts. Like
it's the big time, Ruben.
Yeah, we had a world premiere alongside Suicide Squad, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And it's like right now, like for me, it's like I'm working on the next script, which is I'm working with Raven Banner on the next film, and it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna have great representation, everything contemporary, and every time I'm writing, I'm either crying or getting mad or being happy because the characters are, it's. And the thing with Raven Banner is like they're very super supportive, and they're like pushing. It's just. I'm in a crazy position because they just said, your vision, start writing it, we're behind it. And I'm like, because they knew right from the beginning, like they've been watching this progress of this film, and having seen the progress that I've made with the film, and kind of like how it's been directed, how it was written. And they said, well, we're backing you. And I'm like, I didn't know what to say, man. I can't believe Raven Banner picked me up. So that's the next thing, and it's gonna blow you guys away, basically.
Well, that's awesome to hear, Ruben. Carolyn in the Q&A reminded us all the movie does come out in October. Good timing for scary stories. So it'll be in theaters or wherever theatrical movies can see in October, and then apparently on Super Channel in February. For those of us who are still hiding in our homes. At that point. What about everyone else before we go? Everyone else, what are you excited about? What are you most proud of? This is such a celebratory, wonderful evening. Let's leave some final words of awesomeness.
I'll start. This is the most badass character I've ever played, and I have only had the chance to watch the first half of the movie so far, and I was already like so excited with what I saw, and I'm just really grateful that there's female characters like this to play. So thanks for that, Ruben, and everyone else for making it happen.
Myself, I think it's great. Usually, I don't know, for most of my acting career, I got sort of typecast into sociopaths or walking nightmares or people who obliterate hundreds of people with machine guns. And it's actually kind of ironic that a director like Ruben would watch a film like Hold the Dark and actually see me in a role like Carson. So I think that's super cool too. And totally enjoy playing the role, and I'm looking forward to doing more outside the box things like this.
I was outside the box too, and I was so grateful for that, because I always play tight ass lawyers and doctors and condescending bitchy types. So to play this vulnerable character who, you know, who acts tough but was really vulnerable, was a lovely, actually probably the most personal I've actually got to play in quite a while. So once again, thank you, Rueben, for writing a very real character and trusting me.
Thanks for rocking the role. You know, like, you did a good job. Like, it was awesome.
Thank you.
Sheena,
Yes.
what's next for you? What bit of awesomeness can you leave us with?
What's next? I'm not sure, but I have to say, with everyone saying that they were like, their character was, you know, out of the box or this and that, I would say mine wasn't. And I'm very grateful that Rueben, you know, chose me. Like he said, even 2 years ago, he was talking to me about this. And I'm very grateful that I got to be a part of this. And the fact that even just that I was Kara's first and got the speaking role and everything, I was very, very nervous, especially trying to talk and be articulate in -30 freaking weather when my jaw and whole face was frozen. You know what I mean? How we already discussed all that. But yeah, like it honestly made it harder to even get the words out properly when it was that cold. So the fact that it was like, you know, I've been in many movies, acting stuff where I didn't actually have to speak like that. So for it to be my first time in a feature film like this and a speaking role like that, and I'll say the day that I got there, they gave me a brand new script and they're like, here, everything changed. I almost gave up. I was like, I studied these lines for more than I probably should have been allowed to. I went through them with my kids, with my family, online, on my phone, to like, I'm not going to disappoint. Rueben chose me for this. You know, I'm going to make him proud. And I got there and they changed everything. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't, like, in my head at first I was like, how do I, okay, hold on. And I went back to my sports psychology and practiced like box breathing and everything like that, and ended up being able to do what I did. So I'm very grateful I got that opportunity though, and just got the chance to be with everybody. It was awesome.
Val?
Justin and Val, why don't you close us out?
Sure. For me, man, anytime I get to play any character, I'll try anything. I just like something that's challenging, and any opportunity to get around other professional actors and professional crew and just feel taken care of well enough that I can really focus on the thing I'm doing and just do my piece in the whole project is amazing. And I will never get sick of it. And I hope what's next for me is doing a lot of that. And I was just so thrilled to watch this film. It's the first time I watched it tonight. I thought it came together great. And yeah, I couldn't be more grateful to have been a part of this project. It was unique, and I'm just thrilled.
Val?
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. Every day that I get to get up and put on prosthetics and gore makeup and get splashed and sprayed with blood is a day that I feel like I've made the right decisions in my life to get me to the places that I want to be. I live for it, and super grateful to everybody who makes space for me to do that. So yeah, and to be here at this is my first premiere. And to be at Fantasia, it's a thrill. Yeah, gratitude.
You did it, Val. You ended the Q&A at Fantasia Fest with blood splatter. That's the way you have to do it at this festival. Kudos to the practical effects in the movie, Rueben. I thought they were terrific, to your whole team. So to everyone here, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on this movie. It's so thrilling to see it come to life. And Miigwech, chi miigwech for Miigwech. Rueben, yes.
Can we keep native horror native?
Well, if it's not made by natives, it's not native horror. So I think that's how it
Amen,
rolls.
brother. Amen.
So
Hi.
no question on that one. To Fantasia Fest, Mitch, thank you so much for having us. Everyone watching, it comes out in October. Tell a couple dozen of your friends
Yeah,
to
exactly.
go see Don't Say Its Name, and don't say its name. And once again, thank you all so much. Miigwech from Fantasia Fest. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Mia.
Thank you.